How to attempt questions on meaning and effect. This question is from IGCSE English Language 500, Paper 1, Question 2D. Reread paragraphs 4 and 8. Explain how the writer uses language to convey meaning and to create effect in these paragraphs. Choose three examples of words or phrases from each paragraph to support your answer. Your choices should include the use of imagery. Write about 200 to 300 words. Up to 15 marks are available for the content of your answer. In this question, you need to take out the language or the words used, what meaning the writer is trying to convey, and the effect the writer is trying to create. You're supposed to pick out three such words or phrases that must carry imagery. What is imagery? Imagery is a literary tool, a literary device that uses figurative language to represent ideas, actions, or objects by appealing to the reader's senses and emotions. It is not limited to visual representations but also includes taste, smell, touch, and sound. Imagery is essential to nearly every form of writing, and writers use imagery for a wide variety of reasons. It engages readers. It allows readers to see, feel what's going on in a story. It's interesting. Without imagery, the story or the writing would be dry and dull. It can set the scene and communicate character. The description of how a person or place looks, moves, smells, does as much to tell you about that person or place as any explanation can. His words felt like a dagger in my heart. My head is pounding like a drum. The light under the door looked buttery. His coat felt like a velvet curtain. I came inside because the house smells like a chocolate brownie. These are some examples of imagery. Paragraph 4. Look at the map. My choice was clear. I could paddle direct along established routes for fishing boats or go gunk-holing, as boaters say, prowling in and out of tiny coves and meandering south. Connecting a roundabout route of hot springs, old cabins, the smallest islets, and resupply towns, I could trace excerpts of historic voyages, forage natural delicacies, and communicate with such endearing animals as whales and otters. I wasn't yet factoring in grizzly bears. From here, we are going to select powerful and unusual words, and we can also take out words and phrases that carry connotations in addition to the general meaning. There should be a range of choices to demonstrate an understanding of how language has been used in this paragraph. It should also include the ability to explain images. So, the unusual phrases and words are paddle direct along established routes, go gunk-holing, as boaters say, prowling. You can choose tiny coves, meandering, connecting a roundabout route. You can also select phrases like trace excerpts of historic voyages, forage natural delicacies, communicate with endearing animals, and the last one, factoring in. Now, you don't need to write all of these because you're supposed to select three examples. So let's select three out of these and then we are going to explain them. My first phrase that I will select to explain will be paddle direct along established routes. So, what is it conveying? It is suggesting sensible option, it is less risky and used by others. So, this is a sufficient explanation for this phrase. The second that I'm selecting is go gunk holing. Now, here the writer is using jargon to suggest expertise, and it shows that he has inside knowledge and he wants to appear to be or is a boater. He's well informed, he's part of the club. And my third word would be prowling, in and out. This conveys an adventurous exploration where the character is moving like a predator. Paragraph 8. He sneered at the limp, shapeless roll of plastic on the sand. I attached the hose of the air pump to a valve in the newly patched intrepid vessel, and the plastic kayak squirmed slowly and reluctantly out of its wrinkles into a tube shape. I kept pumping. The second side and the hull gradually assumed a wonky banana shape, a bit like a boat shaped donut, bright yellow with ridiculously optimistic red and white racing stripes down the sides. This paragraph carries an affectionate and amusing description of the boat and recognizes how others might view it. Let's take out all the unusual phrases and words. The first word can be sneered. Then we have limp, shapeless roll of plastic. Newly patched intrepid vessel. The plastic kayak squirmed slowly and reluctantly out of its wrinkles. And then we can also take the phrase gradually assumed a wonky banana shape, like a boat shaped donut, ridiculously optimistic red and white racing stripes. Now I'm going to select my three words or phrases and then explain the meaning it conveys and the imagery that it carries. My first word is sneered, and this shows how the other person is looking with disdain, mocking, or being judgmental and dismissive of the character's hopes and ambitions. Then we have words limp, shapeless roll of plastic, and they are creating an image of something not very rigid, undefined, inelegant, lifeless, and powerless. And my third phrase is ridiculously optimistic red and white racing stripes. This shows that the boat or the kayak is not capable of going fast enough to race any other boat. It is also showing some embarrassment, and the character is poking fun at herself. This question asks for the analysis of how writers achieve effects, and we have solved the question by giving some high quality, unusual words, describing their meanings, how the words and phrases have been used with the reasoning that the writer is trying to convey. We have also tried to explain how imagery is conveyed through these phrases and words, and there is a proper understanding of how language is used in these paragraphs.